going on, y'all? This is the NRW, where nerds rule the world. I'm your boy Kuya P, and I'm here to do something or nothing with the homies. Our first episode is gonna be a wild one. It's gonna be a crazy one, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But let me introduce my partners. I love these two people. They're amazing. We're kicking it off, man, and yeah, we'll talk about this energy. But let me show love. Tranquil, Ashes. What's up, girl? Great to see you, homie. What's good?
Great to see you too, as always. As always, welcome everybody.
Yes. And of course, representing out in LA, he can give you a haircut that'll just make you look so dope and just everything else. I wish he could do my hair, but I have no hair anymore.
Oh shit.
What up to my boy Rue? What's good, Rue?
What's going on, y'all? Well, thank you for having me again. Oh.
Yes. So this is kind of a wild, crazy episode to kick off our first episode, but I'm hoping you checked out episode 0 to learn a lot more about us. If not, go peep that. So you can learn all about the squad. But yeah, we're recording our first episode in weird times. If you've been paying attention, hopefully you pay attention. In recent weeks, there's been, continuing of just violence in the world. It's been starting with the pandemic, but just some of the illmatic things that the former president has said, like saying Kung Flu virus and the China virus, just some bullshit, has just created some anti-Asian violence. And it kind of culminated, as of this recording, with some violence in Atlanta, Georgia, where a young white terrorist, misogynist, racist, went into a massage parlor and targeted and attacked 8 Asian women, killing 6. And so my heart is heavy because beyond that, in recent weeks, there has been violence towards elders, just elder Asian folk that can't really do much. And so it just hurts because, being a part of the Nerds of Color and being somewhat of a AAPI leader in my small way with the Show Pal Show, it's just heartbreaking. And I'm kind of numb right now. And so I'm leaning on Rue and my girl Anita to get me through this, because I like, at moments I break down and I cry, man. I ain't gonna lie. But it's okay to cry because it just hurts. Because I'm a very empathetic person, and I feel with what's going on, and I just love everyone. And so it just hurts to see women, especially amazing women. I have so many amazing women in my life, and our elders just receive violence for no reason. And so anyway, it's going to be an interesting show, and I hope you stay tuned into this, but we want to just show basically and why we just decided to record our first episode despite everything, because we're going to get real. That's what this show is about, being real, letting you know what's going on and how we're feeling. And I can't thank Rue and Tranquil enough for sticking with me and just letting this happen. We're going to have hopefully some of the people of the NRW squad chime in, and hopefully some other leaders in the community come in. I'm going to try and chime them now, but I'm going to turn it over to Rue and Tranquil to let this episode go on, and we're gonna have some fun, hopefully, and hopefully educate you guys. But thank you all for tuning in, and thank you, Rue and Tranquil. I love you both so much. Thank you.
Thank you. We love you, brother. Thank you. We appreciate you. We got you.
Yeah.
But let's start this off. Man, what a crazy week. A lot of good things happened, I feel, this week, but like you said, all these terrible things happening, and it's hard to treasure the good. It's hard to really even be happy during all this type of shit. You know what I mean? So, it's definitely hard. It's hard to even, I don't know. I feel like it's not hard to empathize, because it's just sad seeing things like that happen on the news every day, because I feel like it's nothing but that. But at the same time, what are we going to do? We can't stop seeing these type of things. We can't just act like they're not there.
Absolutely. And let's get this elephant out of the room. This is not new.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a new situation. There has been racism since the Asian community, since they've been here. It just hasn't been visible, or at least hyper visible like it is right now. And I think, with the current climate, with the pandemic, everybody's on edge. Still, even though, with the vaccines and everything, there's a little bit of light, I guess, at the end of the tunnel. But
right.
All in all, this is now it's hyper visible, and that we get recordings of this now. We can see that there are a lot of there are a lot of things that we don't normally see.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like opening their eyes to it. And, you know, for me as a Black person, with everything that happened with George Floyd last year, you know, I had a lot of support from my Asian, you know, American community, my friends, you know, that stood on the lines and shared the post and donated and, you know, bought Black, did everything that they had to do. And so, you know, even though this is going on, we got to be there for each other. And, you know, this is definitely a podcast where we are trying to push that narrative that we're all the same people and we should all be treated the same way. And with this terrorist, and I'm going to go ahead and say his name, Robert Aaron Long, is the name of this man. And according to the investigators, he stated that he was targeting these businesses because he blamed them for providing an outlet for his addiction to sex.
That don't sound right.
Yeah.
That don't sound right at all.
So that was the reasoning that he gave to the police for his actions. It's apparently, this is not like a new neighborhood for him. He's walked through this neighborhood before. And outside of that very clearly non-true excuse that he gave to the investigators, clearly he has harbored some type of a malice towards the Asian American community for whatever reason, being a white male in this society. And this is another horrific example of white fragility, white supremacy, and just how ignorant as a populace we are as Americans, unfortunately. You know, this is the first time for some people. And unfortunately, it took this for people to see what was going on. And it's just unfortunate, man.
For sure. And you know what's crazy is just like, how many times is this going to have to happen until we kind of start? And it's not that it's us that don't realize what needs to change. It's who represents us. It's who we decide that gets put into office. And not even that we get to decide who gets into office, because at the end of the day, we don't know how these fools get in. Because I know I don't vote for these bigots. I don't vote for these assholes that basically just, you know, let all this white supremacist type shit happen. And I think it starts, I don't want to ramble, because one, I feel like it's going to be disrespectful if I do. I'm trying to, my very hardest to be respectful and on topic as possible for stuff like this, because elephant in the room, people that look like me don't usually go through these type of things. And it's true. You know what I mean? I put myself in situations where, not even situations, but I choose to have the people around me be POCs. So I see it a little more often. But at the end of the day, if I get pulled over, it's going to be a different situation. You know what I mean? So it's like, I really don't try and talk too much when it comes to these kinds of conversations. I more try and be a listener, because I don't really want to make it seem like I know exactly what it's like to the nail about this type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And listening is actually a really big part. That's something that the American populace definitely doesn't seem to do very often. It takes someone screaming or burning down a Target for someone to, you know, get noticed. But, you know, I think also too, with this rising, you know, animosity towards the Asian American community, is also causing friction between POC communities. And that's a whole nother bag of worms, unfortunately. And while I 100% understand, this is actually not the time to debate those things. The overall factor here is that when we're all safe and we're all not getting, you know, murdered for being Asian or for being Black, we can have these conversations. We have to get over that hump first. We got to solve the main issues, which is those people in office and those people who, you know, wield the guns. So basically that is the first step. And if anyone who is live watching, if you have any questions or whatnot, let us know. And we will, you know, try to answer them. And we do also have a few guests that would like to come in and speak on, the situation, how they're dealing with it right now.
Yeah, I would definitely love to, talk to anybody listening and listen to their experiences and things they've gone through. Because, like what we've said on this show before, what's beautiful about everybody having a different life is all the different experiences that you go through. But there's also a not beautiful side with all the ugly things that come with life, and those are just as important as well, And I feel like talking about these type of hardships that people go through, whether it be people of your own race or people of your own, just people you consider your people going through things. It could be hard to really talk about it, but it's super brave, and I feel like it is super. It's important. We have to have these uncomfortable conversations if we want to move forward.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so we have a first person ready to come in. One of our regular reviewers on the NRW, our boy Rob Medina. I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in so he can, and I guess say what he feels. Right.
Sounds good. Let's bring him on.
All right, Rob.
There we go. What's up, everybody?
Rob, the movie guy, one of our reviewers for the NRW, man. Great to see you, man.
Likewise.
Welcome. This is Rue and Tranquil.
Nice.
What's up, everybody?
Talking about what's going on, man. What are your feelings, man? We're kind of just sharing right now and kind of just decompressing.
I feel disgusted by the whole thing. To be honest, when I first read the headlines, I actually didn't want to get into it because just the events of what's going on, I didn't have the heart to read it and hear what had happened. But it wasn't until a day or so later when I actually started looking up into it, because I hope by then more information had already been developed for us to comprehend what actually went down. And it was more what I expected. It was just mindless nonsense, and it's weird for me because we're used to those headlines these days, and that's the disturbing part for me. But I don't want to say that I become desensitized to it, but I definitely feel as if if this is going to be the norm, I don't really want to be involved with reading up those stories every time, because it's just going to be more and more heartbreak and more sad news just to continue on to hear that every day. I just don't have the tolerance to be hearing that anymore, because I know there are good people out there. I have friends that are Asians, Black, Hispanic, white, and I know not everyone's like that. So I try to keep within that circle of good people that I know. And that's one of the reasons why I love working for NRW here too, because this is a channel that talks about all sorts of things with what we do for the love of films, but it's all about the love and the passion why movies. And we all come from different backgrounds, and I find that very fascinating, very unique, which is why I love working with these guys here. But when I think about all the hard stuff, I'm just tired of it, to be honest with you. So that's my rant right now.
No, yeah. Like I said earlier, as a Black woman, I hear you. I really do. Unfortunately, I feel like as much as we don't want to have to go and read those, we gotta.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%.
We got to, because if we don't, and we sweep it under the rug or say, okay, well, it was just this one time. That's one more time someone gets away with doing something wrong. And I think, at this juncture, I don't know if it's the right thing to say, but it's definitely time to be angry. I know I'm angry.
For sure. Yeah.
So, and as Mr. Nancy says, American Gods, angry gets shit done.
Yeah.
So we gotta definitely pull together. Is there any resources that you know of, or that you volunteer for, participate in, that's working? No,
not at this very time, because I do keep myself occupied with other stuff. But as I'm looking through this stuff here, the only thing that really comes to mind right now for me to contribute is one of the biggest things that sticks out for me is support the community. So if there's a shop out there that are being run by an Asian family, support them, show some love, go out there, show them the respect. Hispanic stores as well, same scenario. So in that regard, that's how I show my appreciation, show my support. But as far as organizations concerned, I have never really looked into that. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I've always been very careful with looking into the organizations that are doing these things. And sometimes it can be very difficult to find the people that have the right intentions and want to help out the cause. So I try to be very thorough with that as well. But from my perspective right now, it's about, if I'm at a store and I see it's run by Asians or it's run by Hispanics, or no matter what the background is, show the support and then bring people over. Hey, these guys are really good. They have great quality stuff here. Come and check them out. And I never mention the color of their skin. I just say they're good people. And I hope that people will look at that, and rather than look at, oh, they're Asians or they're good Asians. No, they're good people. That's how I perceive it for me personally. Forgive me for being a little reserved right now, because I'm actually a little. I've never actually talked about this at a scale like this before. So if I seem a little reserved, it's just because I'm a little nervous. But that's how I look at it right now for me personally. For me to show support, and if there is a group out there that's going to be good and actually helping that community and investing the time to do that, I'm all for it. But right now in this area, I don't have that here, because I live just outside of Charlotte. I know there's some organizations out there, but I'm not too familiar with them. And I haven't taken the time to look into that as of yet.
Okay. Yeah. Support and your local businesses, of course.
Yeah.
I think too is, if you see something, say something. I think that's another big thing, where you might see something and, even if it's not anything as, big or serious as what's happened, in Atlanta, the more that you say, the more, people will realize that they can't get away with something. Sure. It will record something, that ends up going to their boss, anything that you see that could be a microaggression towards, the Asian American community, towards any POC or Black communities, really, say something. And I think that would help just in POC unity as well, because if we're together, they can't win. So I think that's what we definitely should also try to, work on, is just we help each other. There's the only way we can go up, because the system that we're in, the system that America is built on, is built to break. It's built to maintain the hierarchy as it is. And everyone who gets filtered in here gets put on a plan or an act or a restriction or something that, gets rid of whatever freedoms or rights that they came in with. So I think, any type of collaborative efforts, if anyone out there watching knows any of those, where we can help each other, lift each other, definitely drop them down below, let us know.
Yeah, I love what you said right there. We definitely need to be more connected than divided when it comes to these things, because I feel like when the worst of the worst happens, we tend to cling on to the people that we've been most familiar with our entire life, rather than thinking of, we're all in this together, like as a whole, where it's really just evil against good. If you think of it in simple terms, it ain't that hard to look out for others when you know that that's just the right thing to do. It's not hard.
True. Very, very, very true. Sorry, y'all. I know this is super heavy for
very heavy.
Episode 1, but we're
necessary. It's necessary.
Very necessary. In terms of anything else apparently going on in this crazy world, just how are y'all? Just tell me how your week was, or what your plans are for the rest of the week, outside of clearly dealing with what we've been going through the last few days.
All right, I'll chime in again, because I've been keeping quiet, because as I said at the beginning, y'all already know. And thank you both for your support. Rob coming in, letting us know how you feel, and Rue and Tranquil.
Thank you.
This week was supposed to be Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Zack Snyder's Snyder cut of Justice League. Let me tell you, so just to get my mind off this shit, on Monday I was supposed to have this virtual premiere that I got hit up by Warner Brothers Media. So we're supposed to have this virtual premiere at 6 p.m. On Monday. However, apparently something was going on at Microsoft. I wasn't keeping up with that. They had a bunch of server issues, and apparently it affected Warner Brothers servers. And so the 6 o'clock kickoff for this virtual premiere didn't happen until it got delayed. And if you're aware, this Snyder Cut is a 4-hour fucking long new movie.
Yeah.
And I got a 8 o'clock ping saying we're still working on it, and then actually like a 7 o'clock ping, and then like a 9 o'clock ping, we're still working on it. The link to watch this fucking movie didn't come in till 12:10. And there was no way in hell I was gonna watch this 4 fucking long movie starting at 12:10 till 4 something in the morning. So needless to say, I have yet to watch the Snyder Cut. I have the link now, but like I could wait till fucking Friday. I'm not that pressed. I'm more of a Marvel guy, but I'm not hating on the DC. But at the same time, I am hating on the DC because I think they really rushed the Justice League along instead of building it up
on that
like they did with the Marvel films. So I will watch it eventually, but I'll probably be watching it with everybody else, even though I have the link. So anyway, beyond that, so that's, I know in us nerds, because we're all nerds here. This is Nerds Rule the World. We also have Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And being that I have a press account for that, I also got that in advance to this Friday. And being that it was only a 48-minute episode, I did watch that. And let me just say, I'm not going to spoil it for my fellow nerds here. I know y'all are really ready for it. It's good. It's so good. And yesterday, before everything went down, it took my mind off a lot of shit. And I'm so thankful for it. So thank you, Disney. And I can't wait for you three to see it. And when we can all talk about it, because it's so good. And yes, we are back in the saddle with Marvel. WandaVision was different, which I think was an amazing difference.
It was great.
I loved WandaVision.
It was awesome.
But this Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to take you back to what you love about Marvel and its regular action nature. And I'm down for y'all to see it. And that's been my week. And a lot of other stuff that I can't talk about yet. A lot of great interviews coming up that I've been locking down and filming. And that's also what's drained a lot of my energy with. But it's all for you guys. So I can't wait for y'all to see a lot of good shit coming through. So that's me. And I will go back into my corner over here and just try to stay positive. Go ahead, guys.
Well, just speaking of that WandaVision and with the Falcon, I'm so glad that it was good, because I can't tell you how much I hate Bucky, and I can't express it enough. I'm just like, ooh, toxic boyfriend. I'm not a fan. So I'm real happy that it's good, because I mean, I was very skeptical of WandaVision before I started watching it, and then it turned out to be amazing. So at least that's good.
I've been skeptical about all the new Marvel coming out, because they are leading towards the OG characters. They are moving towards this newer age of heroes and stuff. So I'm a little skeptical, but everything's been good so far. So I'm hyped to see Winter Soldier. But this was supposed to be the biggest week of my life, because Snyder Cut means that much to me. And I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. So I was super jealous of Kuya for having that because he posted that he had the link.
And he's gonna wait till Friday to watch it.
Friday. But I was super jealous. I never comment OMG on anything, and I put like 6 G's on his post. But yeah, no, we'll definitely talk about that too. That's
you're a DC
the only
stan. I didn't realize you're a DC stan, Roo.
I'm a full-blown DC over anything. And
amazing.
We can have that debate one day, a friendly, respectful debate. that's just where I stand. I love it all.
Bring the gloves.
I love it all. Don't get me wrong, I do. But there's just, and we'll talk about it next time on why I love DC so much. But there is a big difference for sure.
Hey, Roo. Well, now that I know that, though, if you're available, me and Rob and Big Boy Screamador, one of our other reviewers, the three of us are planning to do a review once both Rob and Big Boy see it. So if you'd like to tag on that, we'll invite you along if you're available.
I'm there for sure. But honestly, that was that is the highlight of my week. Besides all this very sad shit going on and everything, that is probably what's gonna be able to take me out for a little bit, at least 4 hours, unless I want to watch it back to back, which means 8. But Yeah, I think that's one of the nicest things about being a nerd is just these things in the culture that can pull you out of the real world for just a little bit. You know what I mean? But that's it with me. Robert, you have anything going on this week? How was your week so far?
The week has been kind of a weird one for myself as well.
For sure.
I'm actually working on a review right now that I anticipate to have released the last week of March. And I'm actually getting ready to do a minor production for another review that I hope to have out by next week. And I was literally just working with my son about that before I came down here. And the Snyder Cut, I was very excited for as well. In fact, it felt like yesterday we just got the news that Snyder Cut's going to come out next year. And then here we are waiting just another day before it's actually released. So I'm really excited for that because considering that, I'm sure you all know the history behind what it took to get that film done and then having it shut down and reshot and then brought back out again. I don't think we've ever had anything like that in that scale to happen where the film was shut down, or even though it was already done, but it was shut down, reshot majority of that film to have that. We got what we got. Then they're saying, you know what, that movie you want to make.
Woman 84?
No, Wonder Woman 84 for the most part kept intact with what they were trying to do. It's just that the studio, if they had like some sort of opinions about, we want you to change this, it was resistance from Patty saying, no, I want to keep that. Mm-hmm. So there was a little bit of back and forth, but it was never to the point where they had to like stop everything and then she had them having to leave. It was never to that scale. But with the Justice League film, just the whole story behind what it took to make that movie and then to finally get what we want as fans, it's unprecedented. And I think that's a huge accomplishment. Whether or not the film is going to be universally loved, I don't know. I hope it is, and I hope it's really good. I think this is going to be one of those films in like 20, 30 years from now, when you look at Man of Steel, because I love that movie. Mm-hmm. Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice. When people look back, they're going to say, this movie was not well reviewed, but my God, is it really good? What were they thinking back then? That's what I think is going to happen with these movies way down the future. So it's like Blade Runner. When Blade Runner came out, no one saw it. Then like 20 years later, it's the most highly regarded films of all time. So you just never know. But I think this is going to be the case for when it comes to Zack Snyder's superhero films. That's just my opinion.
I think it's so nuts how he funded, because Warner Brothers didn't want to fund anything after it. I heard he funded almost everything out of his own pocket, and he's not getting a pay cut.
So well, because Warner Brothers is hemorrhaging.
Well, no, he didn't get paid. He didn't pay. He didn't get paid for that. They told him, if you wanted the film done the way you want it, you're not going to get paid, but we'll pay you. We'll pay the $70 million to help finish the production. And
so they put in that. They put that $70 million in. Okay, so I thought he put that
money themselves.
Okay.
No. He didn't take he didn't get any money out of it. So basically, they said you work for free and do whatever you want, and we'll cover the cost. And that's what they agreed to.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Tranquil, how's your week been?
Oh no. Of course, with everything happens, I've been thinking about that.
Right.
I'm not necessarily sure what I'm looking forward to outside of not going to work in the morning, because that's always a thing. Mm-hmm. I'm working on getting rid of that 9 to 5, guys. I'm working so hard towards not working that 9 to 5. But speaking of, getting something early, Kuya, I was supposed to get that Raya link, and it never happened.
Oh, what? I was supposed to give you the Raya link?
Yes.
Wait, you have a Raya link?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I remember having this discussion.
You don't remember? I remember it clearly. Crystal, in fact.
Wow.
Was this like through a messaging, or you guys had a verbal conversation?
We had a verbal conversation.
Has anyone seen Raya?
Yeah, you got to message him and be on top of him for him to remember.
Man.
Yes, because we were talking about stuff, and I was like, oh, yeah, I remember getting an early link for Lovecraft Country when that came out.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Not that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where's my link?
But I did get Raya. I did get Raya.
You did.
However, with much like with Falcon Winter Soldier, with some of the Disney stuff, it's difficult to exactly.
Yeah.
It's exclusive to you when you get it, right?
Yeah. Because there's like other projects, like with Justice League, I was gonna try and share with Rob and Big Boy, so that way we could do our review earlier than everybody else. But sometimes the way they control the link is, there's a lot of additional verifications, and so it's like, it's not gonna work. Yeah.
No, I
know if
believe
you forward
I'm
it.
just saying you did say
I
you was going to give it to me, and you remember it now.
yes, I do. And I honestly do try. Like I honestly tried with Rob and for you. For this I forgot. But I when I was looking at the Falcon, because I forgot who on the team wanted Falcon, but there's certain times where it works and there's other times where I can't. So but I do.
Yeah, it just depends on the project too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gives you that act.
Yeah, like there's some I was able to share with Rob, and we were able to do that. But
okay.
I do try when I can.
But not when it comes to Disney or DC though.
Yeah,
And
I
if you
understand.
live closer
I'm just
to
messing
me,
with you guys.
a benefit by living closer to me, like you could just come to the house and like boom, I get shit every fucking day. Like, but
They don't like my people, and they don't like my people there. They don't like my people over there.
you welcome's at my crib, homie. You know this.
I know. But other than that, I heard that the new Demon Slayer movie is coming out.
I heard about that.
April 23rd. So I'm super looking forward to
Was that
Demon
anime?
Slayer?
Yeah, Demon Slayer.
I
Is that an anime
I'm
movie?
not an anime.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, an
anime.
anime movie.
Oh, okay. I think I did hear about that now.
Yeah, that's coming out. So I'm super excited about that. It's one of the few animes I'm like up to date on right now. But yeah, and just like really just chillax and do a little crafting as usual, but just relaxing. I'm looking forward to a stress-free weekend.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, I hear you. We all deserve one for sure.
Right.
Did y'all hear that the Snyder Cut got released early for like an hour? But it was
Yeah.
because of you had to watch Tom and Jerry. It was a glitch or
Yeah.
something.
So it was a guy out in Charlotte, not far from where I live here, and he was clicking on Tom and Jerry, and he was surprised to see the Snyder Cut, and he saw the first hour, and then like I guess Warner Brother caught wind of that, and they removed that link. So they removed the film, and then they sent out some sort of statement that there was a error or something of sort, and but we got it fixed now. Don't worry. I'm like, man, come on. What do you mean, don't worry? It was better than that movie that we were watching right there. Because I saw that movie. That movie sucked. So
Tom and Jerry.
if I had, Tom and Jerry, I hated that movie. I hate that film.
And Rob did a review for the team.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I saw that, and then I meant to hit you up. So we watched it as a family. It wasn't for me, so I could echo your thoughts on it. But I gotta say, the young generation, my daughter enjoyed it, and my wife actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
so. It really wasn't for us, even though it came from our time period. We grew up on Tom and Jerry, but they put it for these young kids, man.
I had a lot of problems with that movie, not just because it was too cartoony. It was just that there was a lot of elements that they just kept forcing that wasn't working before. They just kept adding to this movie. And I was like, come on, guys, this shit doesn't work. And you guys still don't seem to understand it. But that stuff makes money for them. So they're not going to change the formula if it doesn't stop working. So I can see their point of view, but god damn.
I do like the hip hop opening. So
I thought that was good. I enjoyed
that. I forgot who it was on the opening track because just so much stuff going on.
Did they do
It was a classic hip hop track.
It was
a classic hip hop track.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
It was Can I Kick It?
Yes, it was Can I Kick It?
I think you're right.
You're right, Rue.
I only watched the first 15 minutes, then I turned that shit off.
Okay.
Yeah, once that song was over, man, fuck this movie.
Man, I was like,
not
what?
with it.
They had fucking birds doing Can I Kick It? I like, okay. I was like vibing at the beginning. I was like, oh, this is gonna be all right.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
Too.
I don't know. I feel like most of the remakes of like movies or cartoons from back in the day are just strange. And I don't think the 3D helps it. I feel like it detracts from it. I feel like it takes away from how, large cartoons can, you know what I mean? Like
so the thing is that when you have like those movies that do as well as they do, when you try to stay away and go with the 3D route, like the last movie came out from Warner Brothers, Scoob. That's another example where they did that 3D formula, but they changed everything. They changed the dynamic of the characters. They changed the backgrounds of certain stories, and it basically were making a giant commercial for, hey, we've got other upcoming projects before. So they put all their eggs in one basket before they waited to see what the final returns was going to be for everyone that watches this movie. And it wasn't a very good movie. I think the only movie that actually got it right, that stuck with the formula.
Good. I enjoyed
Scoob. Whack. Scoob was
Oh,
whack.
finish
It was a whack movie.
I never.
I'm not dissing you
Okay.
for liking it. It's everyone has their taste. I get it, but that movie was whack. I did not like that movie.
Oh, you
Oh
froze.
yeah.
You got a little
Froze.
froze.
It's because he knew he was wrong. You froze. Scoob was good. Rob, you froze.
Oh
You're
no.
good now. You're good now.
Oh, am I back?
Yeah, no, I
Probably for
never
the best.
invested in looking into potentially watching the Scoob movies.
I would recommend Scoob, but actually, you know what? No, there's a part that I don't like. That it's the towards the end, but I thought it was decent. But anyway,
Oh god, that ending.
it's okay
sucked.
that we differ, Rob. That's what I like. We should be differing. In
Honestly, the only animation I'm looking forward to from any studio at this point is like Pixar.
I'm with you
Disney.
on that.
Yeah,
Pixar's
same.
got it on lock.
They do.
Because what it's really hard, and don't get me wrong, I'm actually looking forward to Space Jam 2 after reading the after reading the
like
the
this.
premise of it. I just because it sounds so crazy of like and very new age of like AI and Instagram followers of that being the presence. It just sounds so ridiculous, but I mean like it might work. But it's I know. It's not going to be like the first one at all.
It could be
Did any of you guys see
Wreck-It
that
Ralph
the
and
original
break the
movie in
internet,
theaters?
and that's bad.
I wish I did. I don't think I was old enough to.
Oh, have any of you guys seen the original? Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Did
I
you,
saw
Tranquil?
the,
Did you see it?
Yeah.
I saw the original Space. We're talking about Space Jam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Space Jam. I remember it vividly because I was in boot camp. I had graduated from the U.S. Navy boot camp in Great Lakes, Illinois, and we drove down to Chicago from Great Lakes to have dinner with my family. We got Rainforest Cafe. I remember now it's coming.
Oh
to
my
me.
God.
Oh my god, that brings me back to
Rainforest
the old
Cafe?
days.
Yeah.
Throwing
we
it
were
back.
at this. We went to Rainforest Cafe, and then afterwards, before they took me back to boot camp, and actually where I would then catch a flight to my next school in the Navy. But we went to Rainforest Cafe, and then we went to go see Space Jam. And actually, I remember buying the Nintendo 64 game because I was all about. They had dropped this new Star Wars game on Nintendo 64. I don't know why that's coming in my head, but it just popped into. Like, I had to get that game after the Rainforest Cafe. I was like, "Hey, GameStop! I want to get that 64 Super Mario." It was a Super Mario game too, I think at the time. And they had that Star Wars game, and then boom, went to South Space Jam. Thought it was all right. It was pretty cool, and to see it in Chicago too was kind of cool. And then to see Jordan statue outside the stadium as well was kind of dope. All at the same time.
Super cool. I think it was because Space Jam did the thing that very few blending animation and like real life. It can be real tricky, and it can like take you out of the movie really easily. And I feel like Space Jam succeeded in not doing that. Right. And like before that, you had Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the more
Cool World.
Sexy Cool World, if anybody
yes, those are classics.
That was a great movie.
Also,
you guys
Rocky
like
and
both
Bullwinkle.
those, and have you seen both of those films?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool World is better. Like
yeah, I thought so too.
It is definitely the grown up. Like if it's the grown up version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit times 10, and like I just like it was weird because when I was watching it, I was like, they're allowed to do this.
Yeah, I felt the same way too when I first saw it.
They're allowed to do. I was just like, I was like, oh wow. And this was what, early 90s when
yeah.
Came
this
out?
is one of Brad Pitt's earlier starring roles.
Yeah, he was a baby in that movie.
Yeah, and Gabriel Byrne is in that film too, who was in Usual Suspects. And I think it was Kim Basinger who was the female in the film as well too, right?
I think
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I need to watch this movie.
I never wanted to fuck
so
animated female in my life until that.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, I was like, "Whoa, you can do that! Holy shit!"
Yeah, like I didn't see it as a kid. I saw it as an adult. So like as an adult, I was taking in every reference that it decided to push towards me, and I was like, wow. Like I was just like, wow. Like I was concerned. I was like, I'm enjoying this too much. Like this is really
I think she froze.
I was like,
well, I want to ask you guys' opinion about something here. Because we're on the topic of animated films with live action stuff. Were you guys aware of the controversy surrounding Lola Bunny for
Yes.
Space Jam?
Yeah, and
Do you guys agree with that, or do you have any opinions about that?
Yes and no for me.
Okay.
I feel like I want to care, but I don't care because
Yeah.
it's a cartoon. So, and that's what it is. It's not anything more. So, but I don't know. I definitely remember having a crush on the original
Lola
Space
Bunny.
Lola,
Yeah.
and I was kind of expecting to see her come back as that.
Yeah.
But I understand with the whole how everything is now that they don't want to be setting these standards for women like how she was and everything. So I guess my opinion was like, whatever about it.
I guess, but I feel like to capitalize on Space Jam, you're pushing it towards the people who saw the original.
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
To capitalize off of it because
them bringing their kids too.
Exactly. So you have to appeal to the people who saw the original Space Jam.
That's
and
true, yeah.
I don't care as in like it's not going to change my mind on whether to watch it or not or anything like that. But I did see the difference and I was like, whoa, that's a little. I was like, did she like de-age in the body but age in the face? It's weird because she looks like she's 80 in the face and like 12 in the body, and I'm weirded out by the like I don't know, by the contrast of it. I don't know, it's weird.
I want to see how it's gonna look. Sorry to cut you off. I want to see how it translate onto screen though, because the only thing I think we saw was from like a computer screen, so it didn't have all that extra.
There's no context behind all that.
Right. And like we already saw Bugs in a still that they dropped with LeBron, and he looks completely like, he's in the human world. So I think that we might get a little different. Like I understand that's the new way she's going to look, but I think she still might look a little different when because that's how it works, right? They have their own little Looney Tunes world, but then they come into our world and then they look different. So I think that's how the first one was, right?
They were the same.
They were the same.
Oh, then maybe I haven't seen that movie in a minute.
It's very Into the Spider-Verse before Into the Spider-Verse because like
more or less, yeah.
Yeah, you have your 2D objects against the 3D background, and they looked exactly like their 2D objects in the 3D space. So I feel like she's probably going to look just like that, because the still of Lola Bunny from the original looks just like that. So I don't see it changing much. I mean, like I said, I don't really care, but like I peeped the difference, and I didn't see that happen to anybody else.
Right.
Yo, I actually with that conversation, totally sidebar subject, but reminded me of something that I wanted to bring up for this podcast with you guys, that I kind of like half wanted to talk about. So, and it's good you're here, Rob, because I don't know if I actually had this conversation with you, but I think it might have been with Big Boy. But so I'm going to name some titles of films, and I want you to think about the story that were in these films, and then I'm going to go from there. So Wonder Woman 1984, remember the story about Wonder Woman 1984, Zombieland Double Tap, The Expendables 3, Godzilla, Expendables 2, The Expendables, and Doom. What did you think of the storyline for all of those films? Did you think they were great movies or just okay movies?
You want me to answer first?
Go ahead, Rob. What did you think?
Well, I didn't see Zombieland Double Tap yet, so I can't commentate on that. But as far as all the other ones are concerned, when you talk about Godzilla, are you talking about 98 or 2014?
2014.
I thought it was okay, and I understood the execution for the story because you really want to get invested in people. Didn't give a shit about the people, but I thought it was okay. Expendables, I love that movie, so I am all for that film. I think the story was fantastic.
But what did you think 2 and 3?
2 was fucking awesome. I love that movie. I love that film. 3, on the other hand, it's questionable, but I didn't hate the film. I just thought that what they did to it was more just to appeal to the wider masses. I'm like, why are you going to change the formula? Because it was working before. But they thought, well, why not? So whatever.
You like some of them, but some are just kind of mediocre or okay for you. Or
most of them are mediocre. Yeah. For the most part, all the other films, I enjoy the story with the exception of possibly Doom because I did not like the movie.
Okay.
And you're talking about the one with The Rock, right?
Yeah.
I didn't like that movie.
All right. What about you, Tranquil? Have you seen all of those films? And
What was the
would you
first one
say-
again you mentioned?
So there's Doom, Expendables
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3, Zombieland Double Tap, and Wonder Woman 1984.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Wonder Woman. Yeah, that movie was okay.
Wonder Woman 1984 is a train wreck. I personally feel like you can't. Okay, so you know how there's a point where it's like, okay, you enjoy a character, so you just gonna rock with it anyway. I feel like this is the first movie that could possibly break that concept, because I feel like if you watch like film in any sense of intelligent way, like you can't see past the problems. You know, like even simple problems that like post-production could have picked up, like, I don't know, sleeping with a person that with no consent, or, you know, lassoing somebody with your lasso and they're pretending to be lasso, but the lasso isn't there and it's in the movie. You know, things like that. Expendables, I've only seen the first two. I liked both of them. Zombieland I haven't seen. Godzilla, meh, in the middle. I feel like that's pretty much every Godzilla movie for me. It's
Yeah,
just
same.
like it's in the middle, and like pretty much everyone's there for the fight. Like Titanic, everybody's there for the last 40 minutes while the Titanic is breaking apart. Same concept to me. I'm interested in seeing the new one just because the graphics look insane.
Yeah.
And Doom, I liked Doom. I think I thought it was the aesthetic, I think, drew me in a lot when it came to Doom.
Yeah, it's the same feeling for me too.
Yeah.
What about you, Rue?
And all those movies are pretty mid to me, to be honest. I'm not a fan of almost all of those.
All right.
Wonder Woman 1984 is cool because I'm a big Gal Gadot fan, and I was hoping that Patty Jenkins was going to do the film justice like she did the first one, but obviously that was not the case. And I only like Godzilla because I'm into monster movies, but other than that, I'm not a big action movie kind of guy, and I don't like zombies. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't think that's my kind of question.
All right, so this is the reason I brought it up. So for me, so for my quick take, 1984 had so much expectations. It had its moments, but it was trash. Personally, Expendables 1, 2, and 3. The first one was good, but 2 and 3 fell off for me. And it had so much amazing characters and actors in there that, you know, we all love, superstars, but they had all that, yet they failed. Same thing, kind of how I feel with Wonder Woman. You had Gal Gadot, you had Wonder Woman, but to me it failed. Zombieland, you had such a great premise in the first film, but to me the second one fell off. And then you have Godzilla, the greatest kaiju, and then that story was just mediocre. And as same thing with Doom, the game concept was great. You have The Rock in it, and again mediocre. So to me, I'm actually wanting to talk about this screenwriter, and the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because it really has me worried for some super amazing films that I know all of us are really looking forward to. But because this writer wrote all these films, I want to know if y'all are scared as well for these films as much as I am, because this was this guy's previous work, and now he's going to be taking us on this journey on these films that we're all looking forward to and are hoping are good. But now I'm slightly concerned. So the writer of all of those films was a gentleman by the name of Dave Callahan.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
Is working on Mortal Kombat that comes out in the next couple of weeks. He wrote the screenplay for Mortal Kombat. He also is writing the screenplay for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2. He's also working on the screenplay for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Those three films I am dying to see, but once I heard that this writer who wrote those other films and how mediocre that shit was, I'm scared, y'all. I'm scared.
The only writer, right?
Well, Callahan didn't write two. I think he was just credited as a story contributor to the movie, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Which one?
For the Expendables 2.
Oh, okay.
I think he was. I could be wrong, but I remember reading
Expendables 2. He wrote the character. He developed the characters.
Yeah, so he didn't write the story.
He just had for 3 as well. He wrote the characters, but he wrote the screenplay for 1. So maybe one was the better of the 3 Expendables films. Oh, and on another note, he's writing. They're doing Expendables 4, and he's getting credited for the characters. But
Right. Yeah.
he wrote Spider. For me, my concern is he wrote the script for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2, Shang-Chi, and Mortal Kombat. 3 huge
So they
films
didn't
we're all
bring.
looking forward to.
Okay, so they didn't bring back the original two, the people who made the Lego movie for Into the Spider-Man.
Nope.
I have no hope for it then. So
Have to go with that.
none. And with Wonder Woman 1984, the interesting thing about that guy is that he was the one who helped Patty Jenkins write that movie. But Patty Jenkins did not write the first Wonder Woman. She only directed it. And I think that is why Wonder Woman 1 was good.
Yeah, that's why I'm not too like hard on the idea the guy is writing the films here, because I'm sure, I mean, Pat, you understand, you know how the industry works, that you come in to write a movie, you write the film, it's a good idea, then all of a sudden other people are coming in and it just becomes too many in a kitchen where it changes the dynamic of what the original story is meant to be. So that could be another factor as well too. So maybe these guys have a reputation of writing good stories, but the storyline gets changed along the way. And they say, the original story you wrote was really good. Can you do something like that for this film? And then same scenario happens again. So I'm not too concerned about him being involved, because I give it the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion.
Hey, Tranquil, I did a quick check too, and thanks, Rob. Sorry. I did a quick check. So Dave Callahan, along with Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who did the Legos, is writing along with Dave and
then I'm
Into the Spider-Verse too,
because I feel like they won't allow it. Because like for me, I've always liked Spider-Man, but like he wasn't my hero. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always liked him.
Yeah, same here.
All of my male, like a good chunk of my male friends, Spider-Man was their dude. And it wasn't until Into the Spider-Verse where I was like, oh, Spider-Man could be my hero too. And it was so unique, and also the art style and direction and like the score on Into the Spider-Verse was immaculate. So like it was just a combination of greatness. So like that literally almost gave me a small heart attack. But the fact that
I'm still worried, but you now have me slightly relieved for Into the Spider-Verse. But before we continue, we have another person coming in that wanted to talk about what's going on in the world. I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in. Jay, if you are listening, he should be coming up in a second. Go, Jay. Gotcha.
Hey, there you go.
How you doing, Jay?
Jay?
Oh, man.
For those that don't know you, can you introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jay. I'm here from Arlington, VA.
You're from my neck of the woods.
Yeah. I see you guys have awesome collections back there. I wish my background was cooler. It's just the Enterprise right now.
I was about to ask. I was like, I see that deck. Which deck is it?
That's the 60s, right? The 60s version?
Oh, yeah, that's the OG.
The OG, yeah, the OG Star Trek.
The original Enterprise back here.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the conversation, man. We were talking about the screenwriter for the upcoming Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2, Shang-Chi, and Mortal Kombat. Essentially, what led off with the conversation was the screenwriter for those upcoming films that are highly anticipated. He also wrote Wonder Woman 1984, Zombieland, Double Tap, Godzilla, The Expendables, and Doom. And for me personally, that's not great screen credits leading into this. To me, those were kind of just mediocre films, and it makes me worry about Mortal Kombat and Shang-Chi and Spider-Man, especially for me, Shang-Chi being an Asian American. That's like, to me, our Black Panther. And this guy, who is of Asian descent, Dave Callum is of Asian descent, but he's only done mediocre work for me personally. And so I'm concerned on the writing for Shang-Chi, Mortal Kombat, and kind of relieved on Spider-Man because Tranquil brought up that he's also working with some of the Lego movie screenwriters, which made Into the Spider-Verse good initially. So there's some saving grace there, I guess. So your quick thoughts in regards to that?
I think that if it's Shang-Chi and we all believe in Kevin Feige and his ability to make it work in the MCU, I think that I'll give him, a positive review for now. I mean, there's hopefulness there that they'll keep the Marvel streak going for Shang-Chi. And I wish he did a better job with Wonder Woman 84. That was a total bomb, unfortunately. So maybe he'll be, redeemed by Shang-Chi going forward. Mortal Kombat. Oh, I don't know. My fingers are crossed for Mortal Kombat. The cast looks good. The trailer looked badass. So let's see what happens there.
True.
I don't mind a little bit of cheese with Mortal Kombat because I feel like it just comes with it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I like the original Mortal Kombat.
I love the original Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't mind a little bit of cheese.
Like, I still feel the first one.
Do y'all like Annihilation too?
God, don't get me started with that movie. I saw that in theaters. That was the first and only time. Well, actually, the first time I ever walked out of a theater thinking, what a waste of time. And I was a kid when I saw that.
But you like the first one, though.
Oh, I love the first one. Yeah, absolutely. First one was fantastic. Saw that in theaters too, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. So,
yeah.
So, yeah.
I like the second one. I like Annihilation just because Jax is in it.
That's fair.
Yeah, they put Jackson there, and
you barbecued his ass.
But no, the first one is that's what I'm not worried about the Mortal Kombat movie at all.
Yeah, same here.
But
not anymore.
I'm just really hyped. We're finally getting to see certain video games make their way to the big screen. Because when you back in the 90s or whenever they did start doing more video game-esque type movies, we got things like Super Mario Brothers with John Leguizamo
and Double Dragon too.
And just their ass. But
Double Dragon, I was such a letdown.
Yeah, same.
But then there are and then there's the newer ones that are based off of video games like Assassin's Creed, and those did terrible. So it's like
is that any good?
No. It's not good at all.
Not good. The games only. For me, I would love to see, speaking of, I would love to see a TV show, a new Spawn HBO TV show.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
We have the graphics to do a real life awesome Spawn now. I hear, what's his name? Ja White. He still is kicking butt. And he might.
Yeah, Michael Jai White's still doing his thing in the action industry. Yeah, for sure.
So he can reprise his role, and I mean his face is going to be covered for most of it anyway. So it's not like he has to look a certain way.
Is that the actor who played the first Spawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the '97 film. Yeah.
Okay. I love that film.
Still kicking like major butt right now.
So then I'm not sure if you're aware. Then Tranquil, Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, he actually has a treatment for a new version, because I don't think he was too happy to. Well, I don't know. I don't think he ever came out with an official statement, but he's going to reboot the franchise and has an R-rated, and he wants to direct it as well. So
Jeremy Renner's
he's got some people involved. He has, Renner, I think was.
So Jamie Foxx is supposed to be playing Spawn. So essentially, what he basically described about that movie is that think of Spawn, but as Jaws, where you see him, but you don't see him that often.
Yeah.
That's a good concept, but I don't think it works well for Spawn, considering the approach he's going to be taking.
I don't think it will either.
I'm not too excited for that, to be completely honest with you. But in the fact that he wants to write and direct it, I respect his approach and why he wants to do it, so that if the movie fails, he can say, well, it's all because of me. I get that. I respect that. But I think it would be better off with someone else's hands who has more experience to give them the opportunity and have him be more hands-on producer. I think that's the way to go for him. But him writing it, I was never really a fan of his writing for the Spawn comics. I just love the visuals, but I was never a big fan of the writing. So I'm a little skeptical about that. But
when I heard that he wanted to write the entire script for the new Spawn movie, I knew that it probably, because if you ever read a Spawn comic, it's super wordy. Like there's so much dialogue in every single
very
square.
Slow.
And so when it was making it sound like he wanted Spawn to kind of be in it, but not really, it sounded like it was going to be just like the comics, which for hardcore fans would be cool. But I feel like for, a regular audience member who's coming to a superhero movie and then not really seeing the superhero for a majority of it, it might like throw a lot of people off.
I'm sorry, go on.
I think that if they just like redid the actual, like if anyone has seen the HBO cartoon Spawn,
that's what I was getting ready to say.
I own those. That's Spawn. That's Spawn.
Best.
the best Spawn, and I don't understand why they couldn't just literally copy and paste that and put that in a television show, because each episode was like an hour and like 10 minutes long. They were girthy episodes, and we have like all this technology now, so I don't see why we couldn't like and just give it back to HBO. They did a really great job the first time, and HBO, you know, HBO is there for the money. They will give you a check if that money is going to come in, and I really think especially with the Mortal Kombat release, and was it 2019 when that came out, Spawn was a DLC character, and they got the original voice actor to voice him. So I feel like the Spawn hype is starting to slowly like creep back up into like the fandom. So if this one doesn't work, I hope HBO takes it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm worried about it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, the only interesting thing about that movie was that Jason Blum, who Blumhouse Productions, he is a part of the behind that movie. So I was a little excited for that, because making a low budget film, which I'm not against, but Spawn is such a spectacular character that I don't think you can do justice with him being under like a $20 million budget film. I think you have to offer a lot more in terms of money to give him the full effect of the character. But I understand why he's taken that, Jaws approach. It could work. I'm very skeptical, but yeah, I'm not really excited for that, even with Blumhouse behind it.
You know what just crossed my mind, because we're talking about Spawn and everything, which is to me a similar character, is Hellboy.
Yeah, and that last one was whack.
Oh, it was bad.
I wasn't a big fan of it. No.
I'm not gonna say it was one of the greatest movies of all time. I had fun watching it because I like the whole mythological side of all that shit. Yeah. But I was gonna say, how crazy would it be? Because I feel like with the Snyder Cut, it's kind of proving that fans are starting to have a little more control or say of what's going on in Hollywood. I would love to see a Guillermo del Toro finish his Hellboy trilogy.
Oh, I'm with you. Guillermo should have it back.
Because the Golden Army was both Hellboy movies were the shit. So
they were great. I mean, Perlman and Jones just like that, just so good. I'm a huge Jones Jones
Doug fan. Jones.
Doug Jones. He did what's his name? Abe Sapien. And I'm just a fan of his creature work, being a makeup artist and everything.
He was great in Pan's Labyrinth too.
Oh, the best! Like the Pan's Labyrinth. I love. He's in everything for real. Like
Jay, do you have anything to say about Spawn or Hellboy? Because I forgot they were in the conversation. My apologies, dude.
Cool. I enjoyed the it's good. I mean, the Spawn. Yeah, you need a good writer. If you can't get a good writer, then it's all going to fall apart. No offense to McFarlane, but writing isn't such a thing for him, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And if they can get, like Damon Lindelof to do a treatment on, Spawn a la Watchmen, then take it to that level of sophistication, then yeah, that's gold, right? And so, the same thing for Hellboy. The last Hellboy was terrible for sure, but I think it was closer to Mike Mignola's vision.
He
of
wrote
the character.
It too.
Yeah, so that's why, I think he wasn't so keen about the Del Toro treatment, and so I don't know if they'll even go back to Del Toro, even though those movies were awesome.
Yeah.
Just because of the way that Del Toro really loved the character and put a lot of heart into it. I think that because the creator himself was like, yeah, I like it, but so that's why he took it that other direction.
The last Hellboy had moments.
Yeah, that's true.
It had some.
I had fun with it,
but the entire set piece wasn't solid.
I like the scene where he was fighting giants. Remember that scene?
Yeah, that was dope. That was a cool scene. I really enjoyed that scene.
Like the action, the live action parts of the movie, I feel were cool, but dialogue and the fact that they chose, what was it? Is his name David Harbour?
David Harbour from Stranger Things.
David, yeah. I don't think he was fate like voice wise and acting wise. Yeah, I can see why they would choose him, but personally, I think he would do better as a Fantastic Four thing or something like that. But I feel like they could have got Ron Perlman is Hellboy.
Perfect.
Like you can't get better than Ron.
It's real hard.
Totally.
But still, like I said, I give it like a 6 out of 10. I have fun watching the new Hellboy, but it's not one of those things where I'll try and defend it. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, there isn't a lot of rewatch on that one. I'll rewatch the first and second Hellboy, but
all the time.
last one, yeah.
I just like there's comic book references. That's what I feel, because I came up reading comics more than I did the movies at first. So if I even see certain references that I've read in comics, that's what makes the movie for me. You know what I mean? Not even if the movie is good sometimes, but that's just me.
That's fair. I got a question for everyone. If there's a show that you could see remade today that you thought was awesome, then what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. That you still like, but you would like to see it remade?
Yes.
Huh.
I got mine.
Go ahead.
Quantum Leap.
Oh,
That was dope.
I got the same. I was just thinking the same thing.
Oh,
Holy
wait,
smokes.
see? That's that Filipino connection, Jay.
That's right.
Filipino connection, Jay.
Yeah.
I don't know who would play my characters though. I have to think about that one even a little bit more. What about you, Jay? Who would play our people?
I think Scott Bakula could still do it. I mean, I think, the way that the series ended was kind of open-ended. And so imagine, Sam Beckett coming back in the 21st century now. Like, he's still leaping.
Yeah.
Imagine that. And then he comes to, they reboot the series and he's still leaping, but he's trying to figure out what's going on. So I think it'll still work. I think he's still bankable as a.
And then the elder, I forgot the other character's name that was kind of like his guide.
I don't think he's still here. I think he's passed already. Yeah, so that's an opportunity for a new character.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that concept was great, where you can do a different. It's basically a different show every episode. That's what I loved about it. So that's for me, man. Yeah.
Okay, that's dope.
Y'all familiar? Did y'all watch it?
I know that show.
Or me and Jay, the elder cats here.
No, I remember that show very well, but I was never a huge fan of it, but I remember it very well.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Well, is it just we can change the cat? We can basically.
You can do whatever you want. You just want that show again.
Oh, The Last Airbender.
Oh yes. With new animation, oh my god.
New stories. I mean, the thing is, that show is personally probably one of the most perfect TV shows. Don't need to be touched with anything because it's so perfect.
Yeah.
But I want more.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to see.
They announced that they're going to be doing an expanded universe. Yeah,
right.
So they're going to do an expanded universe with the original creators.
I'm hyped on that because me and my buddy for years have always been thinking of like, what could we also write to expand that universe? Because I've always thought, how cool would it be if they made a show where every episode was a different avatar rather than a whole season or a whole series to one? That way we get the history and more expanded like that. That way we don't have to be connected to so many characters throughout a series. But the way I'm thinking about it right now, the way Tranquil is saying it, I just want to see old Aang and old Katara grow old together and do their thing. You know what I mean? All the things that we saw happen before Korra with all the hints. I'm not a big Korra fan, so it's like I would definitely like to see more of the Aang, Avatar, Last Airbender type universe stuff.
Yeah, I mean they could always adapt all the comics into an actual show.
I love that.
Fill in the gaps.
I love that.
Yeah. What about you, Robert?
I'm not sure if you guys remember this show. I love the show New York Undercover.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was a great show. And there's so many things you can do with it now. Bringing a bunch of different people from different backgrounds, not just in New York, maybe in New York City now, but take that same concept and put it somewhere else, Chicago, or maybe somewhere in the South in a very populated area like Atlanta or something like that sort. You can do a lot with that. But I mean, it wouldn't be called New York Undercover anymore. It would be called something else. But that concept would be the same, I think. There's so much you can do with that. But I remember that show. It came out on Fox, I think, Sundays, or I can't remember what day of the week it came out. But I watched that show religiously up until the last couple of seasons because the dynamic of the partnership had changed, and I kind of lost interest at that point. But that would be my pick.
What would yours be, Tranquil?
Xena Warrior Princess.
Damn.
Yeah, Xena would be cool. Yeah.
Xena, I mean, I still want to be Xena. Let's be real. I still want to be Xena. I mean, Xena was just like everything in like the early 90s. It was some of the first introductions to like same sex, interracial relationships or, friendships, a woman in a lead role that's a warrior. Like there were so many like progressive concepts in Xena. And I think if they brought it back today, especially with the technology today, give it like a Game of Thrones treatment, with like sets and props and, extras and locations. Because if you recall, Xena went like all over Europe and all over Asia. So that could be like a really cool, like visual, and you could still get Lucy Lawless to be in the Xena. I don't know if people would vote for her to still be Xena. Only because of her, she's older, but I personally think she looks great.
It looks good though.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, if you've seen Spartacus, then you should not doubt what Miss Lucy Lawless looks like. And I feel like she could just be like, okay, well, I'm an older warrior now. Yeah. Doesn't mean I still can't kick your ass. Yeah. And have the daughter in there and all that. And just bring in some new stories. I mean, the Greek pantheon. So many stories, like you would not run out of things to talk about. So I definitely think Xena Warrior Princess would be my pick.
Well, I got another one. Another one. Thundar the Barbarian.
Oh wow!
Which one again?
Thundar the Barbarian. It's from like 80s. Yeah, it's the precursor to He-Man, and it's basically barbarian guy with strange creature with wizard woman going through post-apocalyptic America, trying to figure out what's going on. So
is it animated?
Okay. It's animated. Okay. Yeah, it's animated. I stumbled upon a YouTube, history of Thunder the Barbarian and how it came up, in the early 80s. And I was like shocked by, the voice characters that were voice actors in that series and some of the influences in there. Apparently the main villain was designed by Jack Kirby.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's cool.
So, and then of course you've got like, 80s voice actors from He-Man and, and the work. So, I think that's something that hasn't been touched yet. I mean, I've seen it in like some comics and things like that, but that's one of the properties that would be cool to kind of reboot, with our technology now, even if it's animation, just to bring that back, I think people would dig it.
Yeah. You know what's another good show? I already said mine, and that's my last one, I swear, is I feel they need to bring the Chappelle Show back. I feel like if Dave was able to because Dave is probably one of the more woke type of celebrities, still speaking about everything terrible happening about whatever, but he was probably one of the only people that is able to make those bad situations funny. It's more palatable when he explains it and shows on his show rather than other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's a lot of thought that he puts into his work to convey the message, but he does it in a way that's digestible for us to comprehend and understand and laugh at as well. For sure. But I think right now he's actually worked out a deal. I think with Viacom, because I think they're the ones that own Dave Chappelle's show, because they had the whole thing about telling the fans, just don't watch the show, help me out because I want to do these things, but Viacom won't let me do it because they own it. So if you want to help me out, stop watching the shows. Netflix decided to remove Chappelle's show off their roster, and then HBO Max begrudgingly did the same as well too. But then once they worked out all the details behind the scenes, now they're all back in the respective platforms. So who knows what the opportunities may arise from that as well. So I'm hoping that will come to fruition because I think that was kind of the deal that he was trying to go for. So we'll see what happens. So that might be possible.
We need Dave, man. We need Dave through these times.
Yeah, I could see that. I would love it to come back, but I ask you guys, do you think it'll be the same type of show though?
I think it should be.
I can't see them doing the same type of show anymore. What about you, Tranquil?
Go ahead.
No, you say you were gonna say it.
Oh, okay. I can see. See, I don't know if it would be syndicated. Like, I feel like that's the part. I feel like I don't know if it would be on TV now or if it would be like a Netflix, you get one episode a week kind of deal, because he penned a very large deal with Netflix and Netflix for his stand-up specials. So I don't see why he wouldn't also do that again, especially if, Viacom or whoever doesn't end up acting, to his wishes. But I feel like the level of skits, like the amount of energy required to do the skits that he did in Chappelle's show, I don't know about him having anymore. He doesn't look like the same guy. He's closing in on 50. He's been around for a while. So like, I feel like while they would still be funny, I don't know how much of him in big acting, like big, physical acting, because he was a big physical actor, and I don't know how physical he'll be in another show. I don't know.
True. That's true. I can see that.
He'll still be hilarious, but
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna be jumping over slave fences and getting whipped, or anything like that in these episodes. I don't.
But do you think
like
the writing will be? I don't know if the writing will. I don't know. I just can't see him writing about certain things the same way.
I think he has the to do that, because his work and his work ethic and his views on the political things, that the way things are going right now, I think he has the ability to pull off the things that he wants to pull off. Maybe there might be some setbacks, but I think the only setbacks that he would probably encounter are more or less going to be about, well, do you really know how this actually has played out for you to really convey these jokes the way you want? I think that might be the only thing. But even then, I think he's smart enough from what we can see of him, that he would listen and understand the argument and then come from a different perspective if it involves him to try a different route. I think that could be the case for him, but I really think he can pull it off if given the opportunity.
Okay.
So before we get onto our next topic, guys, we have another guest coming in, another reviewer for the NRW. We have all the NRW family, I guess, coming in tonight. Please welcome Francis Serrano. Francis.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hello,
Francis, introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, I'm Francis. From California, and I'm Filipino, and glad to be here, part of this discussion.
So I know a lot of how I put out that we're going to talk about some of the current topics. We got sidetracked to just bring some more levity and positivity in the room, because it's so down right now. And I haven't actually had Jay talk. I don't know if you were going to want to come in and talk on that as well, but I definitely want to allow you that opportunity, and as well as you, Francis. So before we we still have some time. We are going a little bit over than what we said we are going to do. So I hope my co-hosts Rue and Tranquil are good with that.
I'm chilling, man.
Keep
going for a little bit. And Rob, again, thank you for coming out to join us. So let's go back to current events right now, and obviously the issues with the anti-Asian violence that we have. Since Jay, you're the first to come back on, and so we'll just put you to the side real quick, Francis. Let Jay come in and talk on this. Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the situation right now is frankly terrible, and the level of violence and just outright racism that we're seeing in America right now is escalating. It's not coming down, it's going up. And so, we thought that, with Trump getting out of the way, that things would kind of mellow out. It's actually escalating, which is, both sad and surprising. And so I think it's just time for us to really step up, take care of our elders, take care of our people. Whenever we go out, let's just watch our backs and just take no shit from anybody, lipping us about, where to go or where we come from, all that stuff, really. So I think that, the Asian community has been, kind of sidelined the discussion for a couple of, for a while. I mean, we've been kind of in the sidelines as, the different movements have been coming around, and so we've been supportive of, Black Lives Matters and all the other folks. And so I think it's time for us to, kind of step up and make sure that our community is safe, and that we take care of our folks as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate you coming in to share that with us. Francis, I'm gonna turn it over to you, man.
Okay, so thanks again for everybody for having me. I don't know if Patrick had a chance to kind of share with you guys my background. I am a Filipino martial artist. I've owned the school since 2008. I've been a practitioner since 1998. So I've been doing Filipino martial arts for most of my life. And the one thing, I mean, there's a couple of things that I want to point out first. That racism towards any minorities, especially Asian Americans, are not new. We all know this, right? We all know that this is not new. But it has escalated, and it escalated when we had a president that would call the coronavirus a China virus, which gives people permission to think that, hey, the Chinese or anybody Asian American was the culprit for what we are in right now, right? Because it's easier to point to others than to point to ourselves, right? To point to see, like, okay, what can we do to fix this? And unfortunately, as happy as I am with the new administration, this felt like there's still 75 million Americans that were very, very upset that they lost, right? And as a result of that, now they feel like they don't even have a voice, and now they're now more brazen about being more vocal and attacking Asian Americans and any minorities into that matter, to that fact. But then the question becomes, what do we do about it? Now, as a Filipino martial artist, as a martial arts school instructor, I've been asked by many people, like, why don't you offer self-defense classes? I mean, I've been offering self-defense classes since 2008. What are you all talking about, right? And I'm not putting this on anybody, but this is one of those things where martial arts, the real understanding of martial arts, especially when it comes to self-defense, it's one of those things that you need to put an investment in that you hope that you never have to use, right? And it's one of those things now that it needs to be used, you don't have it. So I've always been in that mindset of I'd rather have it and never need it than need it and not have it, kind of situation, right? But to be honest, and I know this is going to be, a lot of people are not going to be happy with this answer of what I'm going to share in about a second, is that I don't think that even learning how to fight is going to be the answer. I do believe that we should be more diligent. I agree with you, Jay. I do believe that we should have each other's back. We shouldn't let our elders go out. I'm 100% on board with that. But to be honest, that's just gonna. I just like to quote Dr. King. You can't fight hate, darkness with more darkness. You can't fight hate with more hatred, right? And as somebody who is a believer of life preservation, right, of protecting the people I love, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that just learning how to fight is just like 50% of the solution. I think what Jay was saying is actually more on point on what we should do. We shouldn't allow ourselves, to begin with, we shouldn't be letting our elders really do a lot of their stuff by themselves anymore, especially in the pandemic, right? One of the biggest issues that I heard from my brothers and sisters on the right, on the conservative, when we were talking about making gender neutral restrooms, right? They were like afraid, like, what if my little girl's in the restroom and some, guy who identifies themselves as a woman goes in there? And a friend of mine, and I'm not going to say his name, but a friend of mine actually pointed out very, very, very wonderful and different point of view. And he's a conservative by many means. He pointed out, why are you letting your daughter go to the restroom in a public restroom by herself anyway? Right? You think only men are the ones that attack your kids? So those are the kind of things that we have to be more diligently aware of. But learning how to fight, learning how to defend yourself is just 50% of the problem. The other things that we need to do is to have a voice to the voiceless. To continue to point out that this is wrong, and then put our politicians, our public officials on alert, saying, hey, we need more protection. Right? The people of color needs more protection. And, a lot of people are saying that's not going to be deterrent. No, it might not be a deterrent. But if it gives one person pause, right, for 1 second that, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this because I really don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. Hey, that's one more person, that's one less person that's going to be attacking it, right? Because we can never be with our elders 24/7. That's just the plain fact, right? We can never, and even if I'm with my elders, doesn't mean I can't get attacked either. And that's as a martial artist, I'm going to tell you right now that I can't defend everything and everyone at the same time. I can only do what I can, and I can only do as much as I can. But at the end of the day, it's really not enough. We need to start pushing back on the things that were said during the previous administration, the things that people got away with, the people, I mean, look at the January 6th insurrection. Patrick, works in Washington, D.C. I mean, I was worried for him, right? I was absolutely worried for him, but they had license from the former commander-in-chief that this says, yeah, you can do this. You can absolutely do this. And they still feel that doesn't just turn off. Unfortunately, the moment that President Obama became president, that's when the people, our white brothers and sisters are starting saying, hey, we're starting to lose things, right? We're starting to lose things. We're starting to lose our numbers, right? Then the re-election of President Obama, the campaign, when it was the first time that the majority of white Americans was not enough to secure the presidency for Senator Mitt Romney now, right? It wasn't enough to see. It became a wake-up call. And then this is why Trumpism became such a big call for white America, to come out and say, hey, we're losing our country. You didn't lose your country. Your country is just changing colors, and we're not trying to take anything away from you. We're trying to cohabitate. We're trying to share this country with everybody. There's enough room for everybody. And this is where we need to start re-educating people again. That unfortunately, this was the previous administration set us way back. We need to start re-educating our everybody really about how this is not something that's acceptable. This is not something that we should do as a society. And arming myself or teaching myself how to fight is one of those things where it's just kind of where it's just not really the solution. It's a Band-Aid. Really, it's a real Band-Aid to the problem. And unfortunately, and I am going to say something that is going to be quite controversial within the Filipino American community, when Black Lives Matter started really picking up tempo again in the past couple of years, many within the Filipino American community, not everybody, but many in the Filipino American community says, well, that's not our problem. Well, it was our problem then, and now it's becoming more our problem now. And again, it's one of those things, now it's too late. Now it's too late. Now we're like saying, what? Wait, this happened? So I'm sorry, but I'm going to call out my fellow Filipinos. I'm like, this, a lot of y'all said, that's not our problem. Maybe if they weren't doing anything illegal, or maybe like, no, that's crap. That's BS, man. That's absolute BS. And now the chickens are coming home to roost, and making chicken adobo. That's what's happening. So
Francis coming here lighting a match, bro. Tell it, bro.
Oh man, I have so many things to say about what you said because that was fantastic. One, yeah, like when you're saying like we're not trying to take anything from you, actually, we're trying to stop them from taking everything from everyone else.
Yes, exactly.
That is what we're trying to do, and this country was never theirs to take. So, we're in a situation with a group of supremacists who firmly believe that this place is theirs, and is doing everything they can to keep it that way. And the best way that they can do it is to get us to fight each other, or to get us to ignore each other. When, like I was saying earlier, when George Floyd, that situation happened last year, and Black Lives Matter, we turned up to 22 on this one. And there are a lot of people who opened their eyes and they're like, I've never seen this before. I was like, oh, but we've been telling you this for 400 years, though. Like, we've been telling you this whole time. Right. But thankfully, with technology, and this is good for Black people and any other communities of color, we can film this now. You can't get away with this now. There's cameras everywhere. Everyone's ready to send your video to your job and get you fired. Everybody is ready. People are ready for that. And I will say this again because I think it's the perfect quote. Mr. Nancy, angry gets shit done. We cannot be passive about this anymore, like at any point. So we definitely need to, work together. Like the only way that we can get out of this is together. They can't fight us if we're together. We're busy doing the job for them, and we got to stop that. Mm-hmm. So, in this, with this situation, I feel like maybe now, and I hate that situations like this have to happen for people to realize that what someone else has been saying their whole lives is true.
Right.
But I hope that, this is that signal boost to, Asian American communities, other Black and POC communities that, it is not just happening to one of us. It's going to happen to all of us, and right now with the BLM movement, we're so loud, they're kind of a little concerned to crack on it at the moment because we are making the noise. We're telling you no. So I believe that, in the Asian American communities, that's also something that we, need to facilitate.
Right.
Be louder. Just, we want to hear you. And trust me, the louder you get, the louder BLM will get for you too. We're here for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
If I can just chime in on something real quick with everything you guys are saying, I think one of the biggest things is for someone like myself who doesn't really talk about this stuff with a lot of people, because racism is something that I have never really had to deal with a lot growing up. So reserved because I was like, what can I actually say? Because I've never actually had to deal with that before. But I can honestly say though that one of the things that I do experience is something that Francis had touched upon earlier, which is that when you mentioned about the Filipino community saying, well, that's not our problem, we're not going to deal with it. I've seen that happen so many times within the Hispanic that I've been a part of. And it's unfortunate because when it happens to us, then all of a sudden it's, hey, wait a minute, what about us? Well, what about the neighbors next door, the Black American friends, our Chinese friends, or Korean friends? What about those guys? What about them when they were going through that? It wasn't an issue for you. So I think there's a lot of issues that we have to deal with within our community, within at home, that is taught to us where we think that's the norm, so that when we see the problem outside of our own community, we don't have to deal with it because it doesn't affect us. But when it does, all of a sudden we need all the help we can get. So I think that's something that needs to be dealt with as well too within our communities, because that's one of the biggest setbacks that we all have to deal with, where our parents or our uncles or our cousins are saying, that's not your problem, just leave it as it is. I think that's something that should be addressed as well. It's unfortunate, but it is a reality. And I agree 100%. If there is a problem with our neighbors, let's help them out. If not, then let's support each other regardless, because that day may come when we all need to be there for one another. And with that lending hand, you won't care what color that is. As long as they can help you out of it, I'm guarantee you're going to be grateful for that. So that's my position on that as well.
100%. I definitely resonate with what Robert just said, because, I think, like, personally, there has been certain things with racism that I've definitely have seen growing up. Not personally on, weird enough, I think we talked about it last episode, but I've had certain things happen towards me just because of the place you grew up with from, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm from Hawaii, for you guys that don't know, but people that look like me in Hawaii do not do so well because of all the colonization and stuff. And it's just like, I don't think that, well, actually, hold on. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, I'm not trying to like butcher what I'm saying. My grandfather, very hardcore Puerto Rican man, used to give me the same excuse for when I grew up, and we used to see these terrible hate crimes going on, no matter if it was a TV or Instagram. Because I would always ask my elders what they think about it, because those are the people that we get our answers from, you know what I mean? And a lot of the time my grandpa would say, if I would bring up something that happened to either a Black person or whoever, he would immediately go into all the bad things that happen to Puerto Rican people. And I'm like, it's not about, oh, that's fine because we went through this too. When in reality, why is it okay that anybody is going through some shit or hurting? Because I love that phrase, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I see everywhere. I just see a bunch of people justifying their acts because they're hurt. Mm-hmm. And something happened to them in their life that they feel they're in the right to do whatever the fuck it is, no matter how shitty it is of them doing, And it's like, I'm not trying to say I'm over here trying to sympathize with, shooters or bigots or racists or anybody that has hate in their heart. I'm not trying to sympathize with that. I'm just trying to sympathize with the fact that I really wish that whatever happened to them didn't, because it resulted into whatever the fuck that is. And I'm really trying to push out therapy to everybody, because I feel like a lot of people in POC communities, that's starting to become a new thing. Is therapy?
Yeah, it's not a common thing for.
No, it's
people,
very traditional. Is not to talk about feelings, and it's not to really put that out because it's shown as weakness. When in reality, I feel like those things, what we're doing right now as a collective, talking about our feelings, really trying to just get to the root of this, and ultimately becoming better people for everyone around us. You have to talk about your feelings. You have to get this type of shit out, because if you hold it in, then it's going to drive you crazy and you're going to go do something you regret. You know, I don't like to put the whole mental health card on everything, because I know people can get sensitive and upset at that, saying don't blame mental health for everything. But it's like, you're not in the right mental state if you have hate in your heart.
Like a mental handicap in some ways.
Yeah, you know, it's not fully, oh, you're mentally disabled, but it's just you are not right in the head if you have hate. And that's the way I see it. You know what I mean? If you love everybody and you're doing everything the way you truly feel in your heart is right, and you're just trying to do right by everybody, then obviously you don't have a whole lot going on mentally. You're more centered. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how I'm seeing all of it. I'm not trying to take too much time from everybody like speaking their piece and everything like that, because I know this is hitting more home for others than it is me, for sure. But I definitely just feel like I wanted to put that piece out there.
No, thanks for that.
No, for sure. Yeah. And I guess, you know, we have been going a little while, so I'll kind of like, you know, throw my final statements about that out there. So this country is rooted. This country is rooted in anti-Blackness, and from anti-Blackness, and the control over other to profit off of. And once that that contract was broken, you know, the Declaration of Independence, you know, and when all the acts came in for, you know, slaves to be free, and putting that in air quotes, because, you know, Jim Crow and all of that other stuff that happened. Right. So you have a group of people who are no longer subjugated. So what do? You go find another group of people to go subjugate them. And, you know, you have the, you know, Asian communities, Chinese communities working on railroads and, you know, being weeded out in the green card process. We are only allowing this type of Asian to come in, or this type of that. And they're already coming in with preconceived notions of who Black people are. And so you get all of us in a group. And then now you have your people of color fighting for white scraps. Like, that's basically what it feels like the country turns into. And like right now, it's definitely what everyone has been saying. Like, if the Black people, I'm trying to say this in the most articulate way. You know, Black people, it's something that Francis has said before, with what's happening now. There's a lot of divisiveness happening, because it's like we're being asked for a lot of help. And, you know, for the majority, and I won't say everyone, because, you know, there are individuals who are not, you know, doing the right thing, of course, but in, you know, majority, we're like always there. We're like the first people to throw something out. You know, Black Twitter is serious. You know, one moment we get a topic, we're going to get something fixed or finished. And I think, you know, with right now, it's just like, they're seeing this happen, and they're like, oh my goodness, it's happening to someone that isn't us. Like, this is crazy to me. And it's like, when you ask, when it's being asked for help, there is this moment where it's like, man, remember BLM? Like, remember George Floyd? Remember, you know, and this is just the name we're giving, Breonna Taylor, everybody else, you know, and we've been saying this for like forever. And I think I want to say, you know, from Black people, I can't speak for everyone, but I'm gonna speak for everybody today. Most of us, we're here for this struggle, because it's our struggle too. It's the struggle that we've had this whole time, and we no longer want this struggle in our country. And the only way we can do that is together. So, you know, by Black, by Asian, you know, if the Black person owns this place, hey, if you really good at IT and lawyering, go help that company, you know, and vice versa. If you have a really good foot traffic, send them to your friend's spot. You know, we just gotta, once we're together, they're not gonna know what to do. So that's all I have to say.
100%. For sure.
All right, let's move on to now. Francis, thank you for that, Tranquil and Rue. Let's close out with some final thoughts because we're actually hitting at 2 hours almost. So Francis,
what? No way.
Go ahead.
Like it to me.
Francis, go ahead, and then Rob and Jay.
Well, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think we just, you know, we need to start blurring the lines of like, this is my community and that's your community. We're one community, you know, but it doesn't mean we don't celebrate our individual cultures either. You know, I can still be Filipino, but I'm also Filipino American now, you know, which means that, you know, like anybody who, you know, you're my neighbor, and, you know, and the one thing, as somebody who is also, you know, is going to seminary school, the one thing that I've always pointed out to people is that I've been blessed to have been to different countries where there's a border between the two countries, right? And I stood by the border and I looked down, there's no natural line. There's no natural line there. So if there's no natural line there, that means it was a line that was made by man. And then if man put that line there, then man can take that line out. We need to start removing those, that this is mine and this is yours. This is ours. Whatever I have, you can have. Whatever you, I mean, yeah, I might sound like a communist to the people on the right, but you know what? I'm just saying, it's like if my neighbor's hungry, I'm going to feed my neighbor. If my neighbor's house is on fire, I'm going to take out the hose and start hosing it down and call 911. It's about, that's what I'm about. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what I think, that's how we're going to move forward as a country about this.
Thanks, Francis.
I'm with
Jay.
you, man.
You want to go, Jay?
Oh,
no, Rob, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, either Rob or Jay. I'm sorry, my bad.
Well, I'll go off here real quick. For me personally, I think one of the biggest things that every one of us here have is the opportunity to speak with one another, and we are educated through the conversation that we have. We have different perspective from our backgrounds. You know, I've said just earlier that I've never really had to deal with racism because I didn't. Me being Hispanic was something that seeing racism from afar was more like from movies and hearing stories, but never directly to me personally, outside of just the racism in the community. That's about the extent that I've dealt with. But I think the biggest thing is education, talking to people, going out of your way to visit a store that's run by someone that's not your skin color, or just simply conversing with them, because there's a lot more that you can learn from that than you would probably from a textbook. And watching programs as well too. One of my favorite shows of all time is a show by the Wayans brothers. I never once looked at it as it's a black show. I was a kid when I saw it, and I just saw it as a funny show. That's what it was for me. It was a funny show. They just happened to be black, and that's how I've always been able to perceive things. And as I grew up, my perception changed a little because people have started tainting that mindset where, you know, you have to look at it like this because that's the way the world is. And I believed that for a while, and because I didn't know any better. So that's another thing that I think a lot of people need to understand, that because someone looks at it that way, understand their point of view, understand their background, listen to them. And you might come to learn that maybe they're not the person you think they are. They just were taught that way because they didn't know any better, and that's all they know. Therefore, give them a shot, give them the opportunity to speak up and allow them to find their voice. And hopefully they'll come around to understanding the full struggle that everyone goes through. I think that's really important for all of us to learn, because I've seen too many times where people will criticize and ridicule somebody just because of their skin color, but yet they're dating the very same people that they're talking shit about. So it doesn't make any sense. So if you don't like Puerto Ricans, then why are you sleeping with them? So just that kind of stuff doesn't make any sense to me. So that's my take on the situation now.
Jay, do you have anything you'd like to say before we go?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody here for their thoughts. I think you know, the topic is so current and alive right now, and that I think having conversations like this is important. our world right now is, going from screen to screen, phones to laptops, in this pandemic world. And I think if we put down our phones and, wear a mask and reach out to that other person, an actual person in front of you or in a group like this, I think, by having that human connection again, I think we can really, help each other out, get through this whole mess. And I think that, just rebuilding connection with people, will help us get through this and help us, understand each other better. And the problems won't go away overnight, but at the same time, I think we have to keep moving forward. We still have to, support each other, like everyone has said here. Take care of each other. Have each other's back, and just have that conversation as regular as possible. Reach out to the person that you haven't talked to in a while. Reach out to your neighbor, reach out to your friends and family. Have a check in with them, and then really just make that connection and take that extra step to understand the person next to you.
Right.
So, thanks a lot.
Excellent. Yes, Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Jay, Rue, Tranquil, Rob, Francis. I hope you've all found this a safe space. And yeah, thank you guys for sharing.
Thank you.
I echo what everybody else is saying here. Today was a weird one. Today was just supposed to be me, Rue, and Tranquil kind of celebrating our first show. But I had such a rough time that I had to call in reinforcements for myself. Because I like I said at the beginning of this, before Rob and Francis and Jay joined, I've been feeling crushed all day and like a weight on me, and I'm sure Francis, as Asian Americans, it's our turn now. Like last year with Tranquil, the BLM movement and everything, just it's like we keep on passing the buck. Who's not gonna get the shit now from racists, and it's like our turn, and it sucks, and it just hurts, and
Right.
especially with the fact that the people oppressed right now are Asian elders and Asian women, and it's just sad. But hearing and everybody sharing today, I thank you guys. I love you guys. That it means a lot. So I really can thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and to just share with us in this. And I hope people are watching, can find this same kind of conversation with your families, because that's the way we're gonna, get out of this and learn and make a better world, is to have these conversations that are hard. So thank you guys. Before we leave out of here, can y'all throw your I'm gonna pass it one more time around to let them know how they can hit you up online and everything. And me, Rue, and Tranquil will finish it about the end. But Rob, Francis, Jay, if y'all can let them know how they can reach out to you guys.
Go ahead, guys.
Oh, for me, I'll start off. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Geeks and Goddesses, all one word.
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, you can follow me on my Twitter, Rob Medina0585, on Instagram, Rob_Medina085, and on Facebook, just Rob the Movie Guy.
And you guys can find me if you're looking for a Filipino martial arts school, and you're in Riverside or Orange County area here in Southern California. You can visit my website at fmaschool.com. That's F as in Frank, Mary, Alpha, school.com. And you can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, on FMA School, and on TikTok, Big Boy Screamador.
Awesome. Thanks,
Cool.
Gentlemen. And you can also catch Rob and Francis over at the NRW, where nerds rule the world, which is the home of the Something or Nothing podcast. And also check out my man Jay at Geeks and Goddesses. Hopefully he can come over and show nerd out with us over here at the NRW, man. Thank you for coming over, Jay. Rue, Tranquil. Let's tell them, you guys. I know I kind of took over on this one. We're going to be passing the buck around. We're going to have a lot more fun and going into some other not as deep topics, but we'll probably get to deep topics because we want to give you all the real and speak out on things that are important to us. So, Rue, go ahead and hit them up.
No, I'm gonna let Tranquil go. Ladies first.
Oh, that's
thank
okay.
you.
Look at that.
Tranquil Ashes on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and that's it. Yeah, Tranquil Ashes, all platforms.
And y'all can get me at Roohkage on Instagram and Twitter. ROOHKAGE. First Roohkage, Village Hidden in the Cloud.
Yes, sir. Rue, Tranquil, thank y'all for being amazing new hosts. This is our first episode. It was a crazy first episode, but I think we came out very real in this first episode. So y'all know what we're all about. We're going to give you nothing but the real because we ain't about that fake shit. So I'm Kuya P, aka Patrick Michael Strange. You can follow me at Strange since 1977 and at Temple Far East. Here at the NRW, where nerds rule the world, and of course, where I give you POC perspective within pop culture over at the Nerds of Color, and of course, Show Pow Show, where I talk about Filipino representation within pop culture as well as other various fields of industry. I hope y'all will check that out. Tranquil, Rue, crazy first episode. I know we were kind of wild on this one, but thank you for allowing me to have some of my other friends come over here to help me out because it was a hard one today. And we're going to have so much more fun. And for my friends as well, Rob, Francis, and Jay, thank you for coming through to show love. And also
thank you for letting us come
very
here.
Important topics.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, fellas. It was a real pleasure talking.
Thanks, guys. Sure. So, yeah, that's us. We're something or nothing and all of that. We're out of here, guys. Boom, boom. We're out of here. Take care.
Good one.